Hello, here's a spell, and I have an exciting announcement to make. We made it to 52 subscribers at the time of me recording this. So this is technically my 50 episode special, and by the time you listen to this, I'll be 21. Yeah, so I made it to 50 subscribers before my birthday. Real excited. Now let's get on to the video. When our gang of Lucy, Happy, Natsu, and Asta all arrived at the port. They wound up asking around to see if anyone was willing to take them to Galuna Island. The response was an overwhelming no. The island was well known for being haunted, cursed, any variety of those. Some spoke of man-eating monsters, others said the waters were simply too dangerous, and others still just refused to comment. Asta said he was going to try his luck, seeing if he could find anyone over there. Well, Natsu and Lucy kept looking where they were at. A minute later, Gray would show up and confront Natsu about taking the job request. Lucy would be shocked when she found out the punishments could be as severe as getting kicked from the guild. But just before Asta got back, Natsu would just punch Gray out in the stomach. Asta would come back around and say, Natsu, why is Gray knocked out? Natsu would just say, haha, he found out we were going and decided to tag along. As Asta just looked at him like, really? You want me to believe that? But the guy in front of him said, you guys looking to go to Galuna Island? So they managed to get on the boat, and it was evening before Gray woke up. He would tell Asta what was going on. And Asta was shocked at Natsu's audacity. He started berating Natsu, but Natsu had his head over the boat throwing up. He had forgotten about motion sickness, as Natsu and Gray did laugh at this, considering it was his fault they were in this mess. They were laughing at Natsu when Lucy said, the boatman's gone? The other two looked and were shocked. He was. Natsu thought he felt his key up, but no way he managed to get that high without them noticing. Did something grab him? But no. He would have sensed his key. But as that thought was cut short as a massive wave towered over them, colliding in their small boat, destroying it in one go, as they woke up on the shores of Galuna Island. When all 5 of them, including Happy, wash up on shore, they're disoriented. Natsu immediately gets up and says, "Land! Thank God!" As everyone else groans in the fact that they are just knocked out of a boat and are disoriented. Gray yells at Natsu that they should go back. He wasn't supposed to take that job. Natsu said, well, we're already here, we might as well do it. As Asta says, I hate to say it, but I somewhat agree with him. Gray just looks at him and says, Natsu, great, you were out for most of the day. It's for crying out loud. It's night out. My sword can't fly for hours, neither can Happy, and even if we could reach land, both forms of transportation are single person. And without a boat, we're stranded. Not to mention, it's open water. The chances that we'd be picked up by anything is slim, and the chances we got eaten by some sort of kraken, if we just happen to get seen by it, is likely. As Gray huffed. There was some logic in that. So we might as well at least get to the town to see what's happening. As Gray just says, yeah, what are you going to do when Urza finds out? As Natsu Olsen looked horrified. Natsu sighed, Asta sighed, and Lucy looked worried. Lucy just said, so is she gonna, like, kill us? Asta just said no. Oh, she might kill Natsu. But we don't have much choice in the matter. We're on a remote island and have no way to get back. As there's not really much argument. They're now stuck, after all. As they go to the middle of the forest, and they finally find the village, using Natsu's scent and Happy observing from the air. They show their go marks to get in, like in canon, as the chieftain welcomes them and says, "Can you please reverse this curse on us?" As he shows their demon features. Natsu says, "Wow, that's so cool! You get claws and horns and stuff." As Asta just sighs, "Natsu, can you... I know they look cool, but these people consider them a curse." As the chieftain says, "If this was all, it wouldn't be so bad." But when the moon comes out, as right on time, the moon comes out, revealing a purple light coming off of it, as all of the villagers turn into monsters. This happens as Natsu says, "You still look cool, though." The chieftain smiled at the compliment, as Asta just says, "How about we take a rest and we'll take this up in the morning? I have some things I might be able to try." As Lucy just asked, "Oh, your black anti-magic sword?" As Natsu nods, and the fact that I read a lot of books about magic, curses, and all of that. So there's a higher possibility, even if I can't directly solve it, I can at least figure out what's the issue. As I wind up sleeping in a house, and the next morning Asta asked everyone if he could just examine a couple of them to see. Natsu was grumbling that they weren't fighting anything or any of that. As he examined their quote-unquote curses, and used his Demon Dweller sword to just nudge it against their heads to see if that managed to reverse it, since that can nullify weak curses or enchantments on someone. After about a little bit of doing this, he would meet back up with the others and tell them that he has some news. First off, the chieftain wants us to destroy the moon. Lucy just looked wide-eyed at him like, "How are we supposed to do that? That's a moon! Isn't it like millions of miles away?" As Natsu just says, "Yeah, let's blow it up." As Gray just sighs. Natsu just says, "Yeah, and that would cause some issues if we did. The bigger thing is, the people's curses aren't what they think." Lucy would just perk up at this and say, "Okay, what are they?" "Well, their curses, they're human forms." As they all looked at him. "Yeah, they're actually some sort of natural demon." As Lucy just looked worried, like, "Demon, like the Book of Zareth?" As Natsu just said, "No, the Book of Zareth demons were created by Zareth. There's natural demons. Some can be nasty, but these seem to be just fine. My sword can nullify magic to an extent, and it had almost no effect on the demon arms or horns, but it had an effect on the human skin. Plus, the fact that when I used it on them, it cleared their minds. It didn't last for very long, meaning the effect is accumulative and lasting fairly long, but it was clear enough for me to figure this out. The people here are suffering from a type of long-term magic exposure illness. I don't know if any better way of calling it. As Natsu just says, magic sickness? Bray then piped in, magic overdose? Lucy would just sigh and say, that is said, what cause that? I've never heard of a spell doing that. And Asta just says, yeah, I've only heard it mentioned in books. But those were usually very dangerous, and like here, it took years. From what the villager said is, despite it, when they were in a slightly clear state of mind, it's been probably 6 years, roughly, since the moons turned purple. So 6 years of exposure's about right, as Lucy just nodded. So, if that's the case, then where should we start? As Asta just said, the old temple. From the information they've given me, the old temple probably is the root of it. They can't go to it, which is what partially led me to the realization that they were demons, since that temple's sacred ground. The other thing is, it's the only other large complex on the island that's capable of having a long-term magic ritual take place at, as they all departed for the temple. And that's where we're going to be leaving it for this week. Now, a little thing is that my microphone broke down in the middle of this, so I'm using a different one, which is part of the reason why in one spot it's a little jarring, and I would have re-recorded more, but I just thought the audio change was too drastic to do that in the middle of the video. Next week, or, well, not next week, next episode of this should have more action. Also hoping to roll out different what ifs soon. My first attempt to roll out a different one didn't go so well, but hey, still got hope for different what ifs. I've had some trouble coming up with ones for Black Clover, so that's the thing. And besides that, just reminding you, I have created a What If Anime subreddit for people to share their what if videos, ideas, even fanfiction text. Just a place for the community, since I haven't really been able to find a place for the community. And as for the rest of you, I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Sharing the video does help the channel a lot, and liking is a perfect way to share my support. It only takes a minute. Same thing with subscribing and hitting that bell notification. And this is Spellry, signing off.